Coming up on the Bison Information Network, Below Zero Wrestling came to Fargo, bringing fun entertainment for families. Community members of the Downtown Engagement Center explained resources and care they can receive and the positive impact it makes. And in sports, softball and baseball both took on South Dakota State at home over the weekend. Full coverage on that coming up with Jack. We'll have those stories and more tonight on BIN News. Welcome back, Bison Nation. My name is Charlotte Davignon.
And I'm Laney Schutz.
And tonight we're taking you through campus, local, and national news. Campus Attractions is hosting a boba and bubble event this Thursday from 11 to 12. Students can build their own boba drinks by choosing teas, flavors, and toppings. Then head over to the Bubble Play Zone that has bubble guns, wands, and machines. This event is designed to help students unwind and get creative.
Mindy Niebauer Donovan is turning adversity into an achievement after life-changing surgery. A former standout high school athlete recently had her foot amputated following years of medical issues and multiple surgeries. Now months later, she's back in the gym and competing in Paralympic track and field events. She says that her experience pushed her to start over, regain strength, and chase new goals, including a potential spot competing for Team USA.
Professional wrestling fans packed into Fargo this weekend as Below Zero Wrestling brought its latest event to town. Here's Laken with the story.
There is a chill in the air here at the Sanctuary Event Center in downtown Fargo, and no, it's not because we're getting another cold front coming in. That would probably be the worst news going into May, but because Below Zero Wrestling is back in town for their 5-year Wrestleversary after it was founded in 2021. And as I'm looking around, it seems to be a full house. I heard that they reached their ticket cap. They sold over 300 tickets so far. So, yeah, it's looking to be a great night, one of their most profound nights yet. 7 matchups, I heard. And the winner gets to decide which belt they go after, as well as the terms for the next contenders. So, yeah, it's looking to be crazy.
And crazy ended up being the understatement of the century. I mean, this whole thing was insane. Below Zero and everything about it is absolutely electric. And the first thing I think of was the crowd. I mean, even before we entered the building, there were cheers, and throughout the whole Sanctuary Event Center, there was a lively buzz, and we wanted to know why. So we took aside a couple of event goers and asked them what they were most excited for about the night ahead.
All right, Valerie and Jeremy, what are you both most excited for tonight's event?
The atmosphere and the crowd. It's always so much fun to be a part of.
Just the show, man. I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid. This is the best.
Valerie and Jeremy really did not miss on that one. Everything about the show was so unique and engaging. The pageantry, the showmanship, the wrestling, and at times, even the comedy. I mean, it's just not something you really get to see every day. And like I said earlier, they sold almost 300 tickets. That was enough to pack the entire Sanctuary Event Center. But of course, it wasn't always sold out shows and national tours for the wrestling program. We had the pleasure of speaking with Nick Stokey, one of the founders and the current owner of Below Zero Wrestling, about how this idea came to fruition.
Nick, how did this whole thing start? How did Below Zero come to be?
Yeah, 5 years ago, Below Zero Wrestling, we're at our 5th anniversary show here. So in 2021, we started. It was just 2 guys that we met, and we talked a while about starting a wrestling company. Zach Weir was with us, and so me and him started this 5 years ago. And here we are today, 50-some events later, Wrestleversary 5, back where it all started.
That is incredible, and obviously I'm looking around me and it looks like a full house tonight. How much growth have you seen over these past 5 years, and how much change have you seen? Like, obviously, like, there's an incredible amount of people here.
Yeah, I mean, from day one where we didn't even know if 100 people would show up to today, we're essentially sold out. We have a few standing room tickets left, but I mean, it's a packed crowd, and the growth over the years has gone from, like I said, knowing if 100 people are going to show up to we've had events in front of 1,000 people, 1,500 people, 3,000 people, like, and we've traveled to different states and everything. So, I mean, the growth is not something that I honestly ever really thought was going to happen the way it has. So we'll see where the next 5 years takes us.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nick. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Obviously, we're very excited to see how it goes tonight. This is an incredibly unique event, and it's awesome to have something like this in the Fargo-Moorhead area. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It was remarkable to learn from Nick that Below Zero Wrestling had found so much success nationally. But of course, they will always be at home in the Fargo-Moorhead area. And as the night went on, I began to realize what makes this event so special for those who attend. And that's intimacy. The smaller setting makes it feel like you know each wrestler personally. And in a way, you do. The wrestlers, they interact directly with the crowd. They're outside selling and signing merch and taking pictures with fans, and each one of them has their own story and persona. And while I regret to say that Ben was not able to stay for the title-winning match, I will say this: Below Zero Wrestling was 100% worth it, and 110% awesome. For Bison Information Network, this is Laken Hines reporting from the Sanctuary Event Center in downtown Fargo.
A pedestrian is dead after an early morning crash in West Fargo. Authorities say it happened around 2:45 a.m. near 32nd Avenue West and 9th Street, just west of the lights. Investigators say a driver hit a man in the roadway and he died at the scene. The driver initially left the area but returned about 10 minutes later. A crash reconstruction team responded using drones as a part of the investigation. The road temporarily closed but has since reopened. Officials say the investigation is ongoing. No charges have been announced.
Racing season is gearing up at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds with new upgrades and ticket options for fans. Officials say the Speedway has made improvements to grandstands, concession areas, and the track to enhance the fan experience. Tickets and new season passes go on sale Friday, with passes offering access to every race, along with added perks. The first race of the season is scheduled for May 22nd.
The search for Fargo's next police chief is nearing its final stage as city officials review their last remaining candidate. Interim Police Chief Travis Stefanowicz recently faced a public interview where community members and city leaders asked questions about his plans for the department. Discussions focused on key issues including crime response, officer staffing, and building trust with the community. City officials say that the decision is important for the future of public safety in Fargo, as the next chief will help shape policing strategies and priorities. A final decision is expected soon.
A major investigation involving students at Davies High School has led to dozens of juveniles being referred to court in what officials describe as one of the largest cases of its kind in the state. Authorities confirmed that 27 students have been referred to juvenile court after investigators discovered the sharing of sexually explicit images of minors through social media apps, including Snapchat. Some of the images were altered using AI. Authorities are also using the case to spread awareness about sending personal content online.
Fargo's Downtown Engagement Center is continuing to work to support individuals facing homelessness, mental health struggles, and addiction. Here's the story.
The Downtown Engagement Center serves up to 100 people every day. Despite this, the community and policymakers look down on the services the deck provides. We decided to take a deeper look into the deck and meet some of their guests inside.
Well, everybody thinks that homeless people are bad people that sometimes make good decisions. But really a lot of us are good people that sometimes make bad decisions.
But then you got people who do want to change, but they only tend to look at the bad. They never tend to look at the good.
What's something that the Downtown Engagement Center has helped you with that you couldn't get on your own without it?
Easy medical help, you know, and food for sure. A place to stay, safe place to stay when it's cold. Shower. I mean, I guess you can get a shower at Salvation Army, but it's a lot easier here. It's more welcoming here.
What's something people outside get wrong about shelters like this?
They think that it's here to enable us, but really it's not. They think by helping us, you know, that it's not making us change, but that's one thing that they push is for you to get a counselor, for you to get help with housing. They're pushing me now to do that, and it kind of keeps you engaged in your future.
How do you feel about the staff and support you receive at the DEC?
They're great here. You know, I even if I wasn't homeless, I'd come back over here and help out. You know, I stayed here for a few nights during the winter warming, but right now I'm staying at the New Life Center. But I like to come over here to engage with them. You know, the staff here is really helpful, and you know, that them getting to know people, you know, one-on-one it's good for them to do that because it shows they care. So, you know, I like to be here and engage with them and help out if I can. So.
Some policymakers are against services such as the DEC and want to shut them down. What does that mean for you?
For me, honestly, I can survive.
Yeah.
But for a lot of other people that could use the help, I think they should think twice about that because they do a lot of good help. You know, they help out a lot with the community. Because if they actually want to help the community, they're going to help people get off the streets and not just keep them on the streets and keep downtown looking the way it is, you know?
What brought you to wanting to work at the deck? And, you know, how do you feel like, you know, how do you feel your work has impacted the local community?
Yeah, for sure. So I started here at the Engagement Center about 3 years ago. I've been here a little over 3 years now. I had some family who were going through their own substance use problems, and so I literally just Googled one day harm reduction in Fargo and found this, applied, and it was like whiplash. I was not expecting what I got here, but in the end, I've absolutely loved it. This is my joy. This is my like purpose. I know I'm meant to be here, and I feel like we are a huge part of the community. I mean, we're serving. I can't remember like super specific statistics, but I do know it's on any given night, there's upwards of like 1,000 people potentially homeless in the community. And that's our neighbors, that's our people that we serve, that's our friends and family. And so we're here, and I do think we make a difference every day, just if anything, offering like a warm place with like a smile. So, yeah.
How would you say the deck helps connect people with long-term resources?
Ooh. On a day-to-day basis, we have a lot of outreach coming in. We have different organizations from all over the Fargo-Moorhead area come in to outreach people for treatment, to help people get into more permanent housing situations. So we have people, on a day-to-day basis coming in and connecting people to those resources, signing people up for, SNAP, EBT, Medicaid to kind of start their journey. We're a huge resource center. That's our whole goal, is to connect people with resources. We're not a shelter. We're not just a hangout spot. We are working on the inside. People are working hard to get out of their situation.
Gas prices across the U.S. have gone up again, with the national average now at about $4.48 a gallon. Experts say prices started to fall in April, but new tensions in the Middle East have pushed them back up. The biggest issue is ongoing blockades in the Strait of Hormuz, a major route used to ship oil around the world. That has limited supply and raised oil prices. As a result, drivers are paying about 30 cents more per gallon than they were just a week ago. World leaders are just calling for talks between the United States, Iran, and Israel to help ease tensions and reopen the shipping route. Coming up next is Spotlight with Henry.
My name is Becky Parker, and I'm a news anchor at WDAY-TV. I graduated from NDSU in 2010 with a degree in journalism, broadcasting, and mass communication technologies, and then I had an emphasis on broadcasting. Principles of broadcast production and advanced broadcast production. Those were favorites because they were the most relevant for career experience. You're calling people for interviews, you're writing an article. It doesn't just feel like an assignment, it's like actually doing it. I was the news director for the first full semester of the Bison Information Network. The BIN advisor here was very much invested in me to actually have a career in broadcasting. He helped me get my internship and my first job. The people in NDSU's Department of Communication are really interested and helpful in getting students the connections that they need in order to get a job beyond school.
No kid deserves to go hungry, but try as they might, not every family can afford to put food on the table every day. That's why the Great Plains Food Bank and their partner agencies work every day to bring food to our hungry neighbors. Every dollar donated can provide 4 meals for those in need. Go to greatplainsfoodbank.org and donate today so no kid in North Dakota ever has to go hungry.
Hello and welcome back to a special edition of Bison Spotlight. My name is Henry Raddock. On Monday, the Met Gala was held at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The theme for this year was costume art. One of the highlighted looks was Emily Blunt, who wore a custom black-tasseled ashy suit bodysuit, which she adorned with a structural pearl body necklace by Japanese jeweler Mikimoto, valued at an estimated $500,000. Speaking of Emily Blunt, the box office reports. Topping the charts today is the long-expected sequel of The Devil Wears Prada, The Devil Wears Prada 2, which grossed $77 million this past weekend. This is followed up by Michael, which grossed $54 million, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which grossed $12 million, and Project Hail Mary, which grossed $8.5. In special edition, the Internet Perry Awards, also known as the Tony Awards, has released their list of nominations for the 2025-2026 Broadway season. Some notable nominations in the acting categories include Daniel Radcliffe, star of Harry Potter, in Every Brilliant Thing, Nathan Lane, the voice of Timon from The Lion King and Death of a Salesman, and John Lithgow in Giant were nominated for Best Lead Actor in a Play. Luke Evans of Beauty and the Beast fame was nominated for Best Lead Actor in a Musical for his role as Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Show, as well as Stephanie Sue from Everything Everywhere All at Once for her role in the same show for the actresses category. The productions nominated for major awards include Schmigadoon, the stage version of the Apple TV show, a revival of Cats that takes inspiration from New York's drag and ballroom scene, the Rocky Horror Show, a modernized version of the play Oedipus, and Titanic, a campy comedic retelling of the 1997 movie Titanic, narrated by Celine Dion. That's all I have for Spotlight this week. Stay tuned for Politics with Laken.
At NDSU, we're going to teach you about how to work with people. We're going to teach you about relationships with people and how to manage those relationships successfully, whether that's at work, whether that's at home. We have majors in agricultural communication, strategic communication, journalism, and management communication. We have students who have graduated who are doing all kinds of different things, everything from marketing to writing content to development to career coaching. We also, of course, have people doing more traditional things like news reporter or working for TV stations. The faculty members in our department advise undergraduate students, we think that it's important for faculty to develop relationships with our undergrads. We have an advisory board, and that consists of people in the community who are like local business people, and we try to make connections with those people so that literally we know the person that they should talk to about a job. You can't be in the world if you can't communicate. My recommendation is that you take some communication classes at the very least if you can. Even better, do a major in communication.
With Bin Politics, I'm Laken Hines. In national politics this week, the FDA has blocked the publication of multiple safety studies regarding COVID and shingles vaccines. The studies, which utilized millions of dollars in public funds, found that serious side effects associated with the drugs were highly rare. FDA spokesperson Andrew Nixon told multiple outlets that these studies, quote, drew broad conclusions that were not supported by underlying data. This event would be otherwise unremarkable. However, the blocking of these studies has been scrutinized by some experts who see this move as sort of a cheap power play by the FDA to further discredit the effectiveness of vaccines. Under the leadership of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has greatly weakened its push for vaccine recommendation, with Kennedy himself previously claiming that he believes that vaccinations can be linked to autism. Many are seeing this action against the studies as an irrational reinforcement of the FDA's alleged anti-vax narrative, something that many of its top officials deny exists. The FDA did not provide any more specifics as to its reasoning for striking down these studies. This instance leaves many questions unanswered. If researchers used an abundance of public funds, what would incentivize them to produce dataless research? Will we see the FDA continue to block studies that support vaccine effectiveness, or is this just a special case? The answers we may never know. As always, stay safe and stay optimistic for some better weather here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, for goodness sakes. And once again, I'm Laken Hines with Bin Politics. Up next is Sports with Jack.
I'm your friend.
I am your coworker.
I'm your neighbor.
There's no set person that defines who needs help in North Dakota.
I play cards with your grandmother every week.
Hunger is becoming more and more widespread and more known because there are people standing up and saying, hey, this can't happen. We can't be having this in our state, in our community.
I sit next to you in math class.
It's proving that they're learning better and they're not coming to school so hungry on Monday morning. We're engaging them and we're helping them learn. I mean, people want to help their fellow citizens, and in this food bank, in this agency, that is exactly what's happening, is people really, truly care.
I'm here.
I'm here to change the faces.
I'm here to change the faces of hunger.
My name is Addie Stewart, and I graduated from NDSU in the Department of Communication in 2018. My degree was in strategic communication, and I'm the communications specialist for the city of West Fargo. That includes social media, press releases, breaking news, interviews, media relations, and more. I went into communication because I wanted to do something I was passionate about. There were so many opportunities. I knew I could work for nonprofits, government, small business, agency work. Professors in the department definitely impacted me a lot in my life, making sure that once I graduated college, I knew I could get a job here just because of the connections in the department and the great morale that was in Fargo. Future students should definitely come to NDSU because it's a degree like no other here.
Hello and welcome back to Bison Sports. I'm Jack Higgins. Baseball and softball both hosted South Dakota State over the weekend, with softball winning all 3 games and baseball only winning 1. Softball started strong Thursday, winning in a walk-off victory 13-12. After South Dakota State went up 11-7 on a grand slam in the 6th inning, Jessica Delatorre had a 2-run home run followed by a solo shot from Maya Booz, making it 11-10. Down to their final out, Delatorre provided an RBI single to score a Maya Honta, tying the game and forcing extra innings. On Friday, they won 13-4. Maya Booz broke the 4-4 tie in the second inning with her second grand slam of the season, and from there, the Bison never looked back. They scored 10 unanswered runs, including scoring from Taylin Warren, Bella Dean, and Zoe King with an RBI single. Saturday, NDSU jumped out to an early lead, blowing past the Jackrabbits 15-2. They scored 13 runs in the first inning, setting a new program record for most runs in a single inning. Maya Booz also set an NDSU record, becoming the first Bison to hit 2 home runs in a single inning. She hit a 2-run home run to make it 4-0 early, then later in the same inning, she added her second grand slam of the weekend, capping off the 13-run inning. Senior pitcher Piper Reed was dominant in the circle, holding SDSU to 1 hit through 4 innings. She later finished with 2 strikeouts and just 1 walk over 4.2 innings. They now look towards the Summit League tournament in Minneapolis next week, holding the 3 seed and taking on South Dakota State again Wednesday. In baseball, the Bison beat South Dakota State Friday, winning 8-1. They jumped out to a 4-run lead after 3 innings, then the contest went scoreless for 3 innings until the 8th. Kyle Law started the inning with an RBI single before Colton Becker scored on a throwing error. Chase Womack finished with a 2 RBI single, increasing the lead to 8-1. Saturday and Sunday, they fell 4-5 and 10-16. On Saturday, Parker Pletz started and earned 2 strikeouts over 3.1 innings. And Sunday, Jonah Walker had 3 strikeouts over 3.2 innings. They play Wednesday in an exhibition game against the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks at 6 p.m. In other Bison sports news, men's golf claimed the 2026 Summit League Championship at Longbow Golf Club in Mesa, Arizona. NDSU recorded their lowest team score of the tournament and lowest of the season to hold off Denver and claim the team title for only the 2nd time in program history, and the first under head coach Dr. Ekron Miller, who took over last summer. NDSU had 3 Bison inside the top 10 and all 5 golfers inside the top 20 for just the 3rd time in program history. The Bison finished 6 strokes under par in the final round to secure a 6-stroke win, the largest Summit League victory in program history. With their victory, they will continue to the NCAA tournament, with regional sites being announced Wednesday. That's all for Bison Sports. Here's Henry with the weather.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful week of weather. I know the weather today has not been that wonderful. 47 as our high with cloudy skies all day. Feels a little bit like winter, I know. Lows of 29, kind of that below freezing temperature, but thankfully we are seeing kind of the last of that in the upcoming days. Precipitation 10%, humidity 39%, wind at 11 miles per hour. Going on to our rest of our week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're seeing highs going into those into the 70s and then dropping way down to 59, as you can see, almost like a 20-degree temperature shift, with those lows kind of remaining in those 30s consistently throughout the board. Another consistent, sun. As we go into next week, we're seeing a lot more sun. Bit of clouds here and there, but a lot more sun as we go from that colder temperature back into the warm temperature. So we kind of made a giant U-shape. 32, 47, and 43 for our lows. Going into our national temperatures, as you can see, we're expecting a lot of heat, but a lot of mild heat. A lot of those 60, a bit of the 70s as you start going south and west, and kind of hotter as you go further south. I'm looking at Phoenix, Arizona at 85, and Tampa at 92, and Jacksonville at 93. Going into kind of our nighttime, we'd see here Minot is getting only 25 degrees, so it's going to be another chilly night. So make sure to bundle up in those blankets, folks. The south of the country is getting those warmer temperatures, but still not getting over 60s in a lot of places. A lot of places are getting down to those 40s and colder. Well, thank you so much, Bison, for joining me this year. This is the last show of the semester. Thank you for joining us. And, have a good finals week. Try not to go insane. And roll hard and go Bison.
And thank you, Henry. And that's all we have for you guys this week here at the Bison Information Network. And for the year, this is our final show of this semester and this year. And all of us at Bison Information Network just want to thank you all for your support and viewership. and we are looking forward to next year. For one final time, I'm Jack Higgins. Thanks for watching the Bison Information Network, and remember, roll herd.